Big news in the NBA, where the Board of Governors voted yesterday to change the lottery format, beginning with next season's draft. The new 3-2-1 lottery is designed to curb tanking and take away any advantage to losing. Here are the key posts from the new rules. The draft lottery, will expand from 14 teams to 16 teams, which includes the 8th seed in each conference. Bottom 3 teams have a 5.4% chance to get the number 1 pick. That had previously been 14%. Teams cannot pick number 1 in consecutive years, and teams can't pick in the top 5 in 3 consecutive years. Should be easy enough for everyone to understand with one pass through. Wendy, will these new rules fix the tanking problem?
Yes, I believe they will, because there's 2 things. Forget about all the percentages. There's a couple of things you should know. Number one, because of this and because of how low they've made the chances to get the top pick, if you're one of the 3 worst records, you will not see teams plan season-long tanks anymore. Even whether they want to admit it or not, there were teams that planned the previous June to lose for the next 11 months so that they could get a better lottery ball. And they would do it for multiple years in a row. That's going to be gone. The second thing is, sometimes you would see teams start out with the intention to compete and in the middle of the season realize they couldn't, and they were in 10th place, and they said, let's tank for the next 6 or 8 weeks and see if we can get down to 6th. All of the odds between teams 4 and 10 are the same. So you have no incentive to drop from 10th down to 4th. And so those 2 things should obliterate the blatant in-season tanking. Now, I still think we're going to see some teams play around, especially if they don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. That said, I think this will solve a big part of the bleeding wound that tanking was in the NBA this season.
Stephen A.
I agree with everything Wendy said. It's just that for me, it's a salty subject without getting into the particulars, because it should not have come to this. It's such a level of disrespect to the fans to ever engage before a season even starts that you're going to tank a season while asking the paying customer to patronize your product and your brand. It's very disrespectful. And I remember years ago, and Wendy knows this because I've said it publicly, and so does Jay, when the Philadelphia 76ers engaged in the process, and Sam Hinkie was not just losing on purpose, but planning to lose on purpose for years to come. I wanted him gone. And I didn't think that anybody that would engage in such action should be allowed in the league. So much so, why am I bringing that up? I picked up the phone and called the commissioner himself to complain about it. And I said I wasn't letting this go. You can't do that. I had to go. I'll never forget, fellas, I had to go and do a segment for SportsCenter from Philadelphia. And I did it from the streets. I didn't do it from the arena. I went on Broad Street, right down in Center City, Philadelphia. And I did the hit from there on purpose because I wanted people to see fans around me. Yes, Philadelphia is a sports town, and it's a football town. But when the Sixers are relevant, they love the Sixers. The Sixers have on purpose, but planning to lose on purpose for years to come. I wanted him gone. And I didn't think that anybody that would engage in such action should be allowed in the league. So much so, why am I bringing that up? I picked up the phone and called the commissioner himself to complain about it. And I said I wasn't letting this go. You can't do that. I had to go. I'll never forget, fellas, I had to go and do a segment for SportsCenter from Philadelphia. And I did it from the streets. I didn't do it from the arena. I went on Broad Street, right down in Center City, Philadelphia. And I did the hit from there on purpose because I wanted people to see fans around me. Yes, Philadelphia is a sports town, and it's a football town. But when the Sixers are relevant, they love the Sixers. The Sixers had a game that night, and it was like a damn ghost town. Nobody cared because you were losing on purpose. I'm like, how could you do this? How could you do something like this? I literally called. I've never done that. And I called the commissioner's office. I'm like, something got to be done. Something got to be done. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, I'm not saying that my call had anything to do with it, but shortly thereafter, Hinkie was gone. And Brian Colangelo was inserted, if I remember correctly, and something was being done to look respectable. This is the kind of stuff that we have to guard against. You can't have teams. Listen, there's nothing wrong if the season's gone awry in the last month or two. Okay, all right, now I'm positioning myself for the draft. That makes sense. And we have to understand that. That's how the Spurs got David Robinson. That's how Spurs got Tim Duncan. You understand what I'm saying? One could argue about how did Orlando get Shaq. The Knicks got Ewing. We understand that. Nobody's ever sweated that. Why did they sweat it this year? Because of what Wendy pointed out. You had cats from last May or June playing in the tank this entire season. You can't do that. And there's no regard. And, Jay, you speak about this, and I keep encouraging people. You want to sit up there and listen about sports business. Well, Wendy is as brilliant as he is. There's never a loss there. But please go watch Jay Williams on social media. I mean, the brother's special. I'm looking for Jay stuff. Let me learn a little something here. Let me try to learn a little something here. Let me see what the brother's got to say. And you talk about the business aspect of it all. You can't do that to people. And that's what the NBA was addressing, and I applaud them for doing so.
I agree with you full-heartedly. And Brian, I think you're right. I think it fixes it for a short period of time. And as you would say, Stephen A., it's fluid, right? So it gives you the ability to pivot because it's fluid.
Yes, they'll pivot.
I don't think this is fighting anti-tanking. I think it's fighting rational behavior. The economics of losing have become too attractive, right? And I think at the end of the day, the NBA's they're trying to legislate competition. And when your competition is based off an incentive of rewarding not good behavior instead of greatness, you have these issues. And Wendy, to your point, I think they're trying to address this in real time. I think it's difficult because we talk about the league having so much room for improvement, and the game of basketball is in a great place. But this is an issue that the admission of guilt is open and it's been honest. And as long as they continue to try to address, I don't know if it fixes everything, Wendy. I think it has to be fixed over time. But I like that they're taking stabs at it in real time as long as they continue to pivot and keep adjusting it as the puck continues to skate.
It's on us
Stephen A.
as
real
fans.
quick.
It's on us as fans because what you can't have is you can't be asking the paying customer to continue to patronize your brand when you're doing stuff like this. So it's up to the fans to watch them and to make sure you're not in a position to get our money if you're not going to try to go out there and be competitive. You owe that to the fans.
Mm-hmm. Last thing I'll throw out there, and this is coming from an average-minded fan, it is too difficult to understand how this works. It is too difficult to understand how the aprons work. Let's simplify some things so some of us can try to figure out how some of this actually works. It's just coming from one man who struggles.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for, Joe.
Coming up, can Cat do it